Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am so excited to share with you my favorite fall themed suite from the Stampin' Up! August-December mini catalog. Now this suite is one that it took a long time to be able to get our hands on the product. The DSP was not available as part of the pre-order, so we had to wait until a couple of days into the catalog to get our hands on it, but oh my goodness, was it worth the wait. You're probably guessing I'm talking about the Blackberry Beauty Suite, and it is just stunning. If you love fall like me, this is a suite that is a must-have, bar none. The dies are fantastic. The stamp set is beautiful. The DSP is the bomb. Now, the DSP is currently on back order. It won't, not for long. It'll be in fairly soon, I think. I haven't checked today, but I think it was a couple of weeks out. And then we have the Ephemera kit, which is also fantastic. So I'm going to be using a little bit of everything today. The only thing from the suite that I'm not using is the ribbon, but we're using lots of other things. So hopefully you will get a good feel for the suite. We're going to make 3 projects today. And one of them is a fun fold, so it's a little variation on one that I demonstrated last week. So hopefully that'll give you some more ideas for how to do that card. Okay, all right, let's see who's here. I'm gonna pull up my video on my iPad here and see. Hi Louise, how are you? Who else is here? Hi Kathy and Linda. Who else is here? If you're here, give me a hello so I know that you're watching. Hi, Mavis. Hello, Antoinette. How are you? So we are, as I mentioned earlier, going to play with the Blackberry Beauty suite. And like I said, love the products in this suite. So much that I'm actually featuring it 2 more times in different events. Next Saturday, October 2nd is World Card Making Day. And I've actually designed a one-sheet wonder set of projects that I use the Blackberry Beauty Suite for. Now on next Saturday, I'm actually going to use a different suite to show you some other options. But if you are free on Saturday, October 2nd at 9:30 Eastern Time, you are more than welcome. I'll be live right here walking you through these one-sheet wonder cards. So I hope you'll join me. World Card Making Day is the one day of the year that is all about us as card makers, and I want to celebrate by showing you how far you can stretch your single piece of 12 by 12 designer series paper. Now the particular pattern that I chose is one of my favorites from the pack in the Blackberry Beauty pack, so I wanted to make it stretch as far as I could because I absolutely love it. So I hope you'll join me next Saturday, October 2nd, 9:30 Eastern Time. I will post some reminders between now and then so you don't forget. And I will also post sort of the cutting guide for the one sheet wonder so you can cut your pieces and then you can craft right along with me. How awesome would that be? All right, I see lots have joined us. We've got Penny and Julie and Elfie. Hello. Hi, Holly. Hi, Angela. Hi, Deb. Hi, Linda. All right, I think we're ready to flip the camera and get to it. Thank you, Louise. Yes, October 4th. Yeah, I knew it was fairly soon. So yes, you're going to want this paper. If you haven't got it yet, get it. Well, you're going to want it after I show you today. Honestly, it's fantastic. All right, I'm going to flip the camera and we are going to get crafting. Hi, Sue. Hi, Debbie. Here we go. We're going to flip her. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think we're relatively straight. We'll get the lamp out of the way there and we'll slide this up and over so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. Hi, Penny from New Jersey. Thanks for joining me today. Is it as wet there as it is here? We are supposed to get dumped on with rain over the next sort of 36 hours. So they've got a rainfall warning and everything out for us. So sure is feeling like fall. Fall arrives tomorrow afternoon. And with it brings all of the fall weather. So rain and cool, crisp nights and beautiful colors and the Blackberry Beauty Suite. So there's my segue. How's that? So here's the layout in the catalog. It's on page 44 and 45. Beautiful projects in the layout in the catalog. I'm going to show you the bundle because that's kind of going to be our focus today. But again, we're also going to use some of the beautiful DSP. So of course we have our beautiful stamp set. Love the fonts in this, and these are very different sentiments. One of the things I kind of get tired of is having like, you know, 10 different of the same sentiment. It's nice to have some different ones. So I know this is a difficult day. That could be for any number of reasons, and I love that sentiment. I don't think I have another stamp set that includes that sentiment. Some people are just likable. I love that. I love that sentiment. So great sentiments in this, beautiful images, and of course, my requisite spatter stamp. Stampin' Up knows me well. And then of course we have the dies. Now, these dies are fabulous. So this, these guys cut out the stamped images. So we've got 3 that cut stamped images, okay? And then we have this massive leaf or greenery die. It really looks like oak leaves. We're going to see this in action. We're going to use it on the first project. This is a massive die, and you can use it as is, or you can cut pieces off of it to use behind sentiments or as accents on your card. So it's a fantastic die. And then of course we have some smaller individual oak leaves. So that is the Beauty of Tomorrow bundle. And let's get to some projects. Are you ready? All right. So our first project is this one. I posted it yesterday. I totally focused on the DSP on this one. I'm actually going to pull out the DSP so you can see it without all the pieces on top of it. It's almost heartbreaking to cover it. It's so beautiful. So this pattern has the birds and some gold foil. Every sheet of DSP in this pack on one side has the gold foil accent. So it's specialty paper. It's beautiful, and love it. And then on the back, we have this beautiful botanical image. Doesn't necessarily have to be fall, but I love the purples for fall. So that is the DSP. So this is actually cut card front size. So this is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I wanted it to really be the showcase. I didn't want to have a border on this one. So you'll see when we go to fold our card base in half, that is going to cover the entire card front like that. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's do that right now. So my card base is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5.5. So we'll fold that in half along our score line and crisp that up with our bone folder. Okay. And you're going to see that that's going to layer on there just perfectly and cover the entire card front. So I'm going to use a little liquid glue. Anytime I'm doing this kind of thing where I'm trying to cover the entire card front, I like to be able to kind of wiggle my piece into position. If I use tape, it's a little bit harder to wiggle. Once it's on, it's on. So let's grab this. We're going to pop this on here. I'm actually going to open this up because it's easier to see to line this up with it open. So we're going to just get that layered on there. Nice and tidy. And there is our beautiful card front. Isn't that lovely? Now this card is not folded perfectly straight. That's why we have a border there. It's actually the back half. Can you see that? I'll fix that later. All right. So to layer on our card front, here is that gorgeous leaf die cut from the gold Shimmer Vellum, which is also part of this suite. Has beautiful shine. I'm not sure how well that shows on the camera, if you can see the shimmer and shine, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And this will fit sort of corner to corner on a card front. It's sized just perfectly to fit on a card front. If I wanted to, I could actually just cut little pieces if I wanted to sort of not waste the die cut in the middle. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and stick her down. So we are going to do that. Now, the easiest way to glue this down, especially with the vellum, is to just lay down some tape. Okay, now if you are going to be gluing this where it's going to be visible, you may want to consider using the multi-purpose adhesive sheets, because they are not visible when you use them with vellum. They're pretty magical actually when you use them with vellum. Okay, so there is our beautiful leaf die. I'm leaving this loose on purpose because I like sort of the movement that has on our card. And then we're going to stamp. So I have a die cut scalloped rectangle. These are cut using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And we are going to use that fantastic sentiment. The changing of leaves reminds us that new wonders are just around the corner. I love that. We're going to bring in our early espresso ink pad. And I just inked this, so we're going to not press too hard in the hope that we don't end up with an over-inked stamp. And we're going to stamp this sort of towards the top because I need some room for my stamping down here and for my twine. So the best thing about this sentiment is that it's kind of wonky, like it's not straight, it's handwritten, so we don't have to worry about getting it perfectly straight. Gotta love stamps like that. All right, then we're going to bring in this botanical stamp and our cinnamon cider ink. And we're going to stamp along the bottom, but we're going to stamp off, okay? Because we want this to be fairly light. Whoop, that wasn't great. We'll just stamp over that. There we go. You'll never know. See, fixing errors happens all the time. I was joking with one of my downline on Sunday. If you do a video, a Facebook Live video without making a mistake, are you even doing a video? Because you know what? I have yet to do a video without screwing something up. So for those of you who are demonstrators who are afraid to mess up on a live video, just hang around with me. I'll make you feel much better about it. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of linen thread here, and we are going to lay it across the front of our rectangle. And we can actually kind of nestle it between the scallops to hold it in place. So I think I'm going to put it right about there. Yeah, that looks good. So we're going to grab a glue dot, press a glue dot onto the back of our piece, and then I'm going to wrap my twine and press it into my glue dot there. Okay, to hold it in place. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to trim this off. And we're going to grab another glue dot. So for those of you who maybe are struggling with the new glue dot design where the dots are on the strip rather than on the roll, fold your strip back on itself and then press just like you would when they were on the roll. And it makes it a whole lot easier to maneuver them. Okay, that's my little fun fact tip for today. All right, so there is our sentiment. Now that is going to go on centered on our vellum leaves with some dimensionals. So let's pop this on. Hi Violet, how are you? Nice to see that you're watching. We'll pop these guys on. Get rid of our backings. And then this is going to get centered on our card, hopefully straight-ish. We'll just press that into place like that. Okay, and then we have this cute little bird. Now this bird is just die cut from the DSP. The die that comes with the die set, this one here, actually coordinates with some of the images on the DSP. So I just cut a cute little bird out. And we are going to pop him on just sort of the bottom corner there. So we're going to use a couple mini dimensionals on the wings. So one there and one there. And we'll pop that guy on right there. Okay. And then our last touch is to tie a cute little double bow. So whenever we're tying a double bow, we just want to fold our twine over on itself. Make one loop. Bring our twine around and through. Okay, super simple when we are making double bows. I like double bows out of the linen thread. It just gives it a little bit more presence. So we'll trim off our excess, set that aside, and then our bow is going to go in the opposite corner from our cute little bird. So we're going to just roll a glue dot here and press the knot of our bow into our glue dot, and then just pop it onto our card. Just like that. There you go. Isn't that pretty? Super simple card. The DSP does all the work. On my sample, I just used that same bird image from the stamp set and stamped the bird sort of dipping and diving across the bottom of my card. All right, so there is card one. Done and done. We'll set that aside. Make a little space, and we're going to get ready for number two. Now, number two, I think, is my favorite card I've made with this suite. This is my favorite DSP pattern in the pack. And this owl from the ephemera pack is just gorgeous. It's huge, as you can see. Don't need a whole lot else on your card. He is the focal point for sure. So I'm going to show you how I did this. We're going to do a little bit of embossing. So to start, we're going to pull out our cinnamon cider piece of cardstock. It's 4 by 5¼ inches. And we are going to need both the large botanical image and the smaller one. Okay. Now I find it easiest, this is going to be a vertical card, but I find it easiest to do my stamping horizontally. Okay, so we're gonna bring in our cinnamon cider ink. Okay, tone on tone is a great way to add subtle texture to your backgrounds. So we're going to do kind of a large one here, and we'll do a large one up top here. And then we're going to do some smaller ones in the middle with these guys. I'm going to go one longer one, and then we'll do this little guy. We're not going to see that much of that guy once we add our DSP, but that's it. Okay, it doesn't look all that great right now, but we are going to cover this half with the DSP. In fact, I should probably check it to make sure that that's going to work. Yep. Isn't that pretty? Just a really subtle little hint of the stamped images coming out from behind the DSP. Now, before we glue the DSP on, we are going to emboss. So I'm going to bring in my big boy here. This is our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. If you are new and have not seen it before, it is designed both for die cutting and embossing. I'm going to use my platform number 1. I'm using my Timber 3D embossing folder, and I want to make sure when I put this in that I insert it into my folder so that the stamped side is visible when I look down at the logo. Okay, so you can see the stamped image there. I'm going to put my folder down on my platform, making sure that the fold, the crease in the folder, is going into the roller first. Then I'm putting my plate number 4 on top, and I'm going to roll this through. Okay, and we'll get this out of the way. And we'll pull our folder out. And we're going to have beautiful wood grain texture. Isn't that pretty? I just love the subtle texture that this embossing folder gives. All right, so now I have a piece of my favorite pattern of DSP. It is 2 by 5¼ inches, and we are going to glue that on so that it is flush with the right edge of our embossed panel. So we'll just take a little bit of tape here, and we're going to pop that on right along that edge, just like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, love it. Okay, now we can do our stamping of our sentiment. So here I have a die cut stitched rectangle. However, this is actually not from the Stitched Rectangles dies. It's from the Ornate Layers dies. It's quite a long sentiment stamp, and I realized I forgot to mount my sentiment stamp. That's not good. It is right here from the Heartfelt Wishes set. I love the fonts on this. So we're going to use the Much Gratitude stamp. And I'm just going to pull this guy off of here for a minute so that we have a block that's long enough. Now I'm going to ink this up with some Blackberry Bliss, which is a deep, rich shade of purple. So we'll ink that guy up and then just stamp it centered on our label here. Isn't that pretty? I'm sure it probably looks black, this purple. It's so dark. I'm sure it looks black on the video, but it is in fact a dark purple. Okay, now this is going to go on, but we're actually going to cut a little bit of this off. I didn't want it to go all the way across my card front because we are going to add our beautiful owl. And I didn't want his legs to kind of be hanging down into the words. So we're going to slide this over a little bit so that his legs can kind of be coming down onto the label and still fit onto the card. Okay, so it's going to go right about, maybe not quite that far over, right about there, I would say. So I'm actually going to just take and flip this over. I'm just holding it in place, and I'm using my edge of my cardstock as a guide to cut that off. Okay, just like that. And then this is going to get popped up. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals here. Oh my goodness, my comments stopped scrolling. I feel like I'm ignoring you guys. I'm not. I didn't realize there were more comments down here. Hi Gail, hi Debbie, hi Jill. So sorry to be ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. I just didn't realize that we were still scrolling. You guys were still commenting. Things had kind of frozen for a minute there. All right, so we're going to add our sentiment. I'm going to use my grid lines to help me to get this straight. Okay, and then our owl is going to go on right about there. We're going to pop him up as well. So we'll add a couple of larger dimensionals to the body, and then we'll do a mini on the head, just like that. And then the feet are just going to extend onto our label there. So we'll pull these guys off, and we'll stick this guy on. Now you just want to take care that you don't have it too far over so the wing is extending so far off the edge that it's not going to fit in your envelope. So we're going to put him at a little bit of a forward angle here. Okay, a little bit of extension's okay. It'll still go into our envelope. And then we're going to glue this onto a gorgeous Blackberry Bliss card base. Look at how rich that purple is. You don't have to love purple to appreciate the beauty of the rich tone of this. So again, just like before, we have a 4 1/4 by 11 inch card base, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. Oh, Louise, your comments were frozen too. Okay, maybe it's just a Facebook thing today. I always wonder whether it's me or it's Facebook. More often than not, it's Facebook. So we're going to go ahead and glue our card front onto our card base. Now, just a word of caution, when you are adding seal, if you are a seal user and you're using an embossed piece of cardstock, you want to go slowly so that you don't tear your cardstock, okay? I tend to be in a hurry. And, well, my seal lets me know that I need to slow down because it'll pull up the embossed, it'll pull apart the cardstock, okay, if you go too fast. Okay, so there is our card. We're going to add some magical gems here. We're going to do some brushed metallic dots in the gold, of course. So whenever we're using these, we are making a triangle, right? Because visually, that's what our eye wants to see. So let's do one. No, we'll keep it on the DSP. So there is a rather acute triangle, but it is a triangle nonetheless. Okay. Now on the inside of my sample, I'll just show you really quickly. Oh, look at that. This one opens this way and I did this one this way. Oh, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. I just did some more of the stamped botanical images that I used on the front, just on the inside panel. Okay, so there is card number 2. Let's get this out of the way and make some space. And here is card number 3. Now, last week I showed you a fun fold that stood up like this. This one will not stand because I've got this in the way, and it's actually, this part is too small. It's not balanced weight-wise. But I thought it would be fun to take that sort of pop-up card like that and turn it horizontally to create a pop-out card. So I'm going to give you the dimensions for this. They're a little bit different from the card that I made last week, but it's the same basic idea. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece. I'm using Rich Razzleberry cardstock. Okay, it is 4 1/4 by 9, 4 1/4 by 9 inches, and I have scored at 5 1/2, 6 1/2, 7 1/2, and 8 1/2. Okay, it's pretty easy. So this is your standard like card size, right? 5 1/2, and then 6 1/2, 7 1/2, and 8 1/2. Pretty standard. So we are going to fold all of our score lines inwards. Okay, that's going to create our little box here, this little box for our, so almost like the spine of our card. It's going to go this way. Okay, so before we do that, we need to add a little bit of adhesive to our little tab here. And just like last week, if you were watching, this is much easier to put together if you think about the fact that this card is going to squish flat, right? It's going to do this when we put it in our envelope. So we're going to fold that second fold under, okay? And then we're just going to close the card and burnish it well. And then when we pop it up, we've got a perfectly square, well-aligned little box there. Okay, if you try to eyeball it and not glue it flat like this, it tends to be a little bit wonky. Okay, so use that tip. Think about how it's going to go flat into the envelope, stick it down flat, and then form the box. Okay, all right, so before we do our next piece, we're going to decorate this layer. So I have some more of my favorite DSP. Love this pattern. This is cut. Now these are 1/8 inch sizes because I like my narrow borders, right? So if you find these annoying, you can always cut these 1/8 of an inch smaller and you're dealing with quarters instead of 8ths. So this is 4 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, and that is going to fit just perfectly onto my little background panel there. Okay, so we'll add some adhesive here. And we're going to pop that on just like this. Okay, and that gives us a nice narrow 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. Okay, you could totally cut this to 4 1/4 by 4, 4 1/4 by 4, and you would have 1/8 of an inch borders. Okay, it's a little bit easier measurement wise. All right, we also need a little piece for our spine here. So same pattern. Okay, this is 7/8 by 4 1/8, and it's going to go on like that. And again, the easiest way to glue this on is to do it with it pressed flat. Okay, it's easier to glue something when it's flat than when it's popped up. So we're going to put a little bit of adhesive on here, and the tip here is to make sure that your edges align, right? This edge needs to align with this edge, and same thing down at the bottom. It just looks a little bit tidier. Okay, so that's our sort of backdrop for our card. Then we're going to do this front panel. So this one is cut to 5 1/2 by 3. Yes, 5 1/2 by 3. Okay, and we are scoring at 4 and 5. 4 and 5 inches. So 5 1/2 by 3, scoring at 4 and 5 inches. I will put all the measurements in the comments after I'm done the video, so you have them if you want to recreate this. Okay, so again, we're going to fold our score lines inwards. Bone folder. Let's make sure those are nice and crisp. Okay, and then again, we're going to close our card. We're going to squish our base flat. This one is going to squish flat as well. Do you see that? So when this is closed, this fold here is going to align with the right edge of my cards. So you see how that's going to work? It's going to squish flat, and this edge is going to align with this fold. Okay, so we're again going to put some adhesive on our little 1/2 inch flap here. We're going to fold this shut. And I find the easiest way to do this, and it's really hard because I'm not looking straight down at this again because of, let's see if we can do it this way. Might be easier. That'll be easier. So I line up my fold with my edge here, and I do it centered side to side as well. Okay, so you just kind of want to get that in place. Press that down. Okay, and then again, still with it closed, we're going to add some adhesive right along this edge. So I'm just going to take and put a little bit of seal right along that edge, and then I'm going to fold that over again. Oh, and you know what I did? This was supposed to go on before this strip so that it would hide our joint, but it's not going to matter because we're going to hide it. It's all good. All right, so there is our card. So simple. So now we're going to decorate. I have here another piece of that beautiful bird pattern DSP. It is going to go on. Now this is going to look weird because this was supposed to be hidden. Okay, this piece actually, if this is hidden, imagine this isn't here. That is a perfectly centered piece. Okay, this was supposed to go under here. It's all good. Measurements, this is 3 3/8 by 2 7/8. So 3 3/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, so we're going to add a little adhesive to this. And again, with it squished flat, we are going to center that on our piece. So we have equal borders on 3 sides. We're not going to worry about this piece. Okay, so far so good. All right, next I have some pieces from the Ephemera pack again. And we have these beautiful die cut. These are laser cut, so they're easy to pop out. And they're just stunning, like gorgeous, and you don't have to die cut them. So they're perfect for people who don't yet have a cut and emboss machine. Because you don't have to have dies, right? You can just pop them out and they're good to go. And then we have this tag, which is another part of another element in the Ephemera pack. So we are going to actually stamp our sentiment on the tag, and then these guys are going to come on here and decorate our tag like that. Okay, so we're going to stamp our tag horizontally like this. We are going to use some early espresso ink, and my sentiment for this, I actually pulled out my In Your Words stamp set. So this is a host exclusive one as part of celebrations, only available for another 10 days or so. But it's this sentiment here. Hope this card makes you smile. I love that sentiment because sometimes we just want to send a card to brighten someone's day, right? Not for any special reason. So it's a great sentiment. So we are going to stamp that in early espresso. Now I am going to do a trial run here just to make sure we're straight. So we're going to stamp this right about in the middle-ish, just like that, okay? And then we are going to add our die cut elements, okay? So this little guy, I kind of wanted it to look like it was maybe longer than it is. It's just a little teeny one, but we're just going to have him kind of peeking out from behind this larger element. So to do that, we'll just add a glue dot to this little guy. And then we're going to kind of tuck him in behind the leaves on this one. Okay, just like that. And then that is going to go on to the end of our tag. Actually, you know what I think I might do, just because I screwed this up? We're going to put the tag on first and then add this, just so I make sure I cover my little boo-boo there. So let's add some dimensionals to the back of our tag. I hope you guys appreciate all the ways I'm showing you how to fix mistakes today. It's my public service. Showing you how to save your projects when you screw them up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add our tag to our project here. Okay, and then these little guys are going to go on right about here. We don't have to worry about this hanging off the edge. It can hang off when the card is open, because when we close it, it's going to squish flat and be able to fit in our envelope. Okay, so again, I'm going to add just a little bit of tape to the end of our tag here. And then we're going to add a couple of mini dimensionals, which are buried behind some of our flowers. So let's just think about where this is going to go. So we need a mini dimensional right here. And we need a mini dimensional down on this leaf down on the bottom. This guy down here. And then the rest, we're actually going to put a little bit. I already put some tape on there, didn't I? Yes, I did. This is one of those days where you kind of forget why you walked into the room. Do you ever have days like that? That's my day today. All right, let's lay this guy on here. We're going to cover up our little oopsie. Press that into place. Okay, isn't that pretty? Now we need to add a little bow because, well, I like bows. So we're going to take our gold shimmer ribbon. And now this is the gold shimmer ribbon that's in the annual catalog. Okay, it's 1/4 inch wide. It's got a different sort of sheen and texture, different from the gold shimmer ribbon that is in this suite. Okay, that particular ribbon is on back order right now. But to make our bow, we're going to make our 2 little bunny ears, cross them over, and pull them tight. So we'll make our sweet little bow. And I need my ribbon scissors. We'll trim that off. And then that is just going to go kind of at the base of our little bouquet there. So again, fold your glue dot back on itself. Press the knot into the glue dot. And then you're going to press the bow onto your card. Just like that. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, great, where do I write? Right? I'm just going to send this card. I'm not going to write anything. Well, that's what we do on the back. So on the back side, I have here a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock. So we're going to go ahead and glue that on. You could certainly stamp another sentiment if you wanted to, or stamp some of the botanical images from the stamp set. Just in the interest of getting to my dinner at some point tonight, and you too, we're going to go ahead and just adhere it plain to the back of our card. Okay, so it's easy to write on this because the card squishes flat. You can write your message, okay, and then the recipient can have it standing on their desk like that. Isn't that pretty? I love this card horizontally. I like it as a pop-up like vertically, but I really like it horizontally. I like the extra dimension that it gives. Now I'll show you a variation on this that I did. This is a slightly smaller one, so you can see it's not quite as long. Still fits in a standard envelope, okay, just a little bit smaller. This one actually is 5 inches rather than 5 1/2. You'll see also that the box here is bigger. This is actually similar in size to the vertical pop-up that I did last week. Okay, so you can grab your dimensions from there. But same sort of idea. and just another take on that card design. Okay, do you like that one? I hope you like it. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Betty. Oh, yes, this paper is awesome. Hi, Bonnie. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you're home safe. All right, let me pull back all of our projects for today so you can see them all together. I'll bring this one into you, even though I didn't actually demonstrate that one. It shows you sort of a variation on that pop-up card. But there you go. Okay, now if you like this suite, you're going to want to join me for World Card Making Day. I also have a Zoom class that I'm running on the 15th of October. I've actually closed registration, but if you email me or message me and tell me that you'd still like to get in on that, like tonight, because I'm putting an order in for all of the stamp sets for this class, I can still sneak you in, okay? But you have to message me directly. Now, in that class, you get the Beauty of Tomorrow stamp set included as part of your class fee. Okay, it's $50 for the class. You get the $31 stamp set. Your postage is included, and you get all of the projects. We're making 5 projects that night. Okay, all right, everybody. That's it for me. Thanks so much for joining me today. It feels like night because it's dark and going me out. Have a fantastic evening, and I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.